Hello, so this is Concepts of Chemical Dependency, Chapter 24, Codependency and Enabling. Enabling, 1 of 2. To knowingly behave in such a way to make it possible for another person to continue to use chemicals, or making it possible for them to avoid suffering the natural consequences of his or her behavior. Those who enable may not do so consciously, but rather as a conscious consequence of denial. Some family members may be overly protective, confusing caretaking with expressions of love. There are many social pressures that can lead to enabling behavior, and they can be seen even in healthcare professionals. Only a theoretical construct, no specific definition, but include the following. So this is about codependency. Closely involved with the person with the SUD, obsessive attempts to control the dysfunctional family member's behavior, bases self-esteem on external source of feedback, tendency to make personal sacrifices in an attempt to cure or limit this dysfunctional family member of his or her behavior. Relationship between enabling and codependency. Enabling includes specific behaviors. Codependency is a relationship pattern. Dynamics of codependency. It includes extreme involvement in another's life and boundary violations. Enmeshment is based on the individual's unconscious fear of abandonment, and self-esteem is based on the ongoing relationship. It often involves blaming oneself for the actions of others. Detachment is considered a cornerstone of recovery. It involves letting go and giving up, quote unquote, the illusion of control. Unspoken rules of codependency. It's not okay for me to have personal feelings. It's not okay for me to have problems of my own. It's not okay for me to have fun or a life of my own. I'm not lovable and should be grateful for affection. I'm never enough. If people act crazy, I am responsible. Rules are actively transmitted, though often indirect. Are we born codependent, or must it be established? Some proponents suggest it is a learned relationship. People believe they are less than others and unworthy of esteem or respect. Codependency and self-esteem. Emotional construction, the family's secret, and denial. The cycle of codependency, patterns of codependency, and the relationship between codependency and mental health. So this is the cycle of codependency. A person suffers from poor self-esteem, unable to affirm self. External sources of support and affirmation are substituted for self-acceptance. Significant other proves to be dysfunctional. Person believes self to be unable to withstand rejection by partner. Person tries to avoid issues that might threaten relationship. Person feels powerless, self-esteem is lost, and then it goes back to the beginning, and it just keeps circling. Reactions to the concept of codependency. Codependency is a construct or a theory. It is not a tangible thing. Mental health professionals have struggled to determine if it is in itself a psychopathology, not in the DSM-5. Many professionals consider the concept of pseudo-problem more than a true pathology. Another challenge of the validity is the fact that up to 99% of U.S. adults could be said to have been raised in dysfunctional homes. How is such a thing truly defined? What is the standard of a functional home? Being raised in challenging circumstances can lead to resilience. This may, in fact, be the norm rather than an exception. It has been suggested that self-help groups for codependency misrepresent the promise of recovery while actually fostering dependence on the self-help group. This may be a transfer of symptoms from one unhealthy behavior to another. Does the codependency model give people an excuse for their own actions? It shifts blame from the person with an SUD to others in their life. It employs the family disease model, wherein every member of the family is said to have a disease rather than the person with an SUD. The construct of codependency may have become too watered down over the years to have any real utility. Many critics label codependency as little more than New Age rhetoric. Others have suggested that codependency is actually a brain disease, but the evidence of this is weak. However, to automatically classify people as codependent without an investigation into the dynamic of the relationship is unfair. So that's it for this video. Thank you for listening.